died. Everyone loved, everyone cried. Round the world we're all alike. So why is it war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright. Isn't it time for us to stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, one love, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright. Isn't it time when the stars die? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace in peace, in peace. Alright, make peace, peace together. Peace.
Thank you guys for being part of the program. Shadow Chasing it's a unique show. Yes, I'm back here, guys. Thank you guys for joining me both on the YouTube chat room as well as the Facebook chat room. I'm actually here. I am late. Yes, my apologies. We had an emergency meeting I'm actually a director of a board. we had an emergency meeting, so I had to participate in it, and it was something that had to be taken care of. My apologies if you guys thought there was something wrong with my health. No, it's not. I was sick at one time a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't doing very well. I mean, not as far as dying. I wasn't dying, but and I'll explain that part to you as well. Um, I want to talk about a lot of every. Let's talk about a little bit of our health and time shifting. Um, there has been energy shifting. I mean, the whole world is so bottled up right now. Everyone is absolutely going through bonkers, scary, fear mongering. There has been so much stuff going around, people sharing all kinds of just ridiculous stories to get you to believe that is they're making you believe that actually it's almost like the end of the world, and it's not. Okay, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of time. And then people, I've always been hearing the story of the end times. Well, it's not the end times as you think. We're not having a catastrophe. The world is not going to blow up and gone. We're not going to have a World War III. We're not going to have no nuclear bombs. None of that actually is going to happen. None. That got taken care of. That stopped. Okay. But for some reason, you're going to hear it from other people that have to bring it up to prepare you, as in food collection for a while, because you're going to end up doing this for the next few weeks. Because we're still going to have a well, I'm not going to say I can't say the word food shortage. There is let's put it this way. Let's go back. I'm going to go back with you guys. A couple of years ago, the East Indian, South Asian people were protesting on the streets here in Surrey, Vancouver, and they were protesting about their country. And it says their signs, their stickers or signs says no food, no farmers, or no farmers, no food. And because they were protesting about it, and no other race cared. They didn't. But yet their own community, the South Asian community, cared because they were already given the heads up, the warning that Bill Gates was wanting to buy all of the farmers' land and to take it away from them so they can't farm anymore. They were willing to give them double the amount of money, value of all your fruits and vegetables, your cattle, you name it. They wanted to take all that away from you, that you had no right to be a farmer. So Bill Gates and his little cronies decided to have a bill passed or some sort of goal with the WHO, WEF, okay, World Economic Forum, with Klaus Schwab and their people. And they wanted to have a law passed, an international world law passed, that it was illegal to be a farmer. They wanted you to destroy all your crops. They wanted you to destroy all your animals, all your earning your income. Then they want to collectively say that the farming community, okay, they're doing it today. The WEF, the WHO, the CDC, all of them collectively together, they're working together with each other, and they're trying to say that the farmers are to blame for the carbon problems. You're starting to see it now. The news media, the mainstream media, the MSM, the garbage fake news media, political influenced by Trudeau and every other freaking leader of every country, is trying to get you to believe that the farmers are at fault, and they want to halt all food products to be sold to the public, to be basically cultivated. They want you to use only Bill Gates's GMO controlled organizational foods. They'll be supplied to Costco's. They'll be supplied to Walmart's. They'll be supplied to whoever Bill Gates owns under any corporate food organizations. So they're basically going to try and control what you consume, including your water, including anything that you want. They want to destroy all of the crops that relates to fruits and vegetables, even fruit trees, and they're going to get them to grow their own fruit trees on the Bill Gates's community of farming areas all across the world. Apparently, Bill Gates is a trillionaire, but apparently he's been trying to buy out land. Now, here's what I was informed yesterday. There's a premier, or actually, one of the politicians. Last name is Moe, M-O-E, up in Saskatchewan. The Chinese Communist Party bought 2,400 acres of Saskatchewan land, and they're going to, and without even informing the public, they're going to make it into potash mining. Okay, in Saskatchewan. They took that 2,400 acres of land and they're going to do potash mining without permission of the government, without permission of the farmers. Like basically, they're trying to wipe out all the farmers out of the way so they can do their own potash farming. These guys are not born here. They're from China. They're still living in China. They own the land, which I strongly believe no country should ever own any land unless they are living here. And our government, which was actually signed not by Trudeau, but Prime Minister Harper, when he was our prime minister in 1984-85, signed a deal with CCP that they can buy all the land they want here in our country. They've already sold approximately about 80% of the land across Canada. That's why you're hearing a lot of the Chinese people from China that are CCP control or CCP run. They're the ones that are saying that they own Canada now. That's what they're saying. That's why people are saying, I'm not being racist. This is all to do with a government control takeover, and Trudeau was in the pockets as well. And he accepted it. He allowed the Chinese military to come in here, CCP, and set up their military base here in BC. He allowed 3 bases, but those got stopped. Okay, I'm not going to get you guys to panic. Those got stopped because our commander-in-chief seized all that. Okay, not Trudeau. Our commander-in-chief seized all that, basically stopped all that from happening. But we still have people still trying to play the game to control our land and our rights as human beings to grow vegetables, fruits, even in our backyards. And in Detroit, they passed a law that was illegal to garden. In Detroit, it's illegal to have a garden in your yard. Did you know that? In Detroit. Now, why? Why is it illegal? Because they don't want you to be natural, grow your own, independent food, self-contained. You don't need anybody to tell you what to do, how to live your life. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Now, people are saying, how come, okay, then our commander-in-chief, how come he's not doing anything about it? He wants you to see what really is going on. He's not interfering. He's letting you see the truth. Okay? Wendy in the chat room says, here in Australia, they are talking about taxing dairy farmers for cow farts. Really? Why don't they tax the people for our own farts? Because we are also carbon-based people. We carbon fart all the time. But you know what? Guess what? Here's the problem. Carbon is not a bad thing. It is a good thing. There's nothing wrong in having carbon dioxide because basically your trees, they release the carbon. When there is chemicals blown in the air and the trees get clustered with all the chemicals, the trees actually, they release all the carbon to clean up all the toxins. Okay, we ourselves breathe out carbon dioxide. Why do you think they force people to wear masks so you can't breathe? Because if you contain carbon dioxide in your lungs, you get sicker and sicker and sicker to the point of where do you go? Okay. Clark says these lands are completely sold out. I would have to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, hard labor, and I still couldn't afford with what my grandpa had at my age, just working at a department store, now at a minimum wage job. Okay. I'm putting out the word, but I'll tell you why. Internationally, we have Italy, we have France, we have Germany, we have other European countries fighting back for your rights and freedoms in other countries, and the farmers are taking their tractors or front-end loaders, you name it, and the manure trucks and manure vehicles, and they're going after the government and they're spraying them with manure all over in their vehicles, on the buildings. They even went as far as burning the police station down, because the police corruptively work for the government and they were trying to use their batons and shields to beat up the citizens who are trying to fight for their freedom. I'm watching all these videos from yesterday. These aren't old videos that are from 2019 or 20. This is now. This is now. Okay? We've got people from other countries right now are trying to fight back for their freedom. And they're getting beaten up by billy clubs and shields by the police, not military, police. That's a corporation. And even though they're trying to tell you, the citizens are fighting for your rights and your freedoms, even other countries. Why? Because they also supply the meat sometimes to this country, Canada, and the US. They supply. We are trading suppliers the field all over the world. We do trading. That's why we're trading all the time. If we lose all of that from other countries, I'm not talking about saying, here's something. I'll tell you this. How come anything that comes from China always sinks on the ocean, but anything that's American or Canadian made, nothing gets sunk on a ship? Why? Because they know very well that it's well made and it would never break down. Okay. I'm swinging my fingers today because I'm telling you guys, this frustrates me. I'm watching all of this. You're talking to an ex-farmer. I mean, I was a farmer when I was a kid growing up. I grew up in the farming industry. I was a dairy farmer. We had cattle, we had pigs, we had chickens, we had ducks, we had geese. You name it, I did it. Okay. We didn't have to have a license to be a farmer. We didn't had to have a license or per cow that you owned. You had the freedom to be a farmer, and you had the freedom to sell your milk. You had the freedom to sell your eggs. You had the freedom to sell your meats because the public trusted you. Okay, there was no law that stops us from actually selling something because you want to do the best you can to help people. But when it comes to a government, a corrupt governments, and I'm talking about our own country too, because they've already started. They've already gone after the East Indian, South Asian farmers, and they're going after other farmers here in Canada, and they want to shut them down. Now, they want to charge. Here's what the farmers are going through right now. Here in Canada, they want every farmer to have a license to sell milk. You have to have a license to own per cow. You got to pay tax on buying a cow. You got to pay taxes to actually sell your eggs. They're taxing you, folks. Listen to this. I'm telling you guys right now, your taxes are illegal. Taxing is not a law, it is a corporation. Taxing is made by the big bankers. The bankers created taxing so they can make more money on you and me. The government is not the one that makes the money. It's the big bankers. They're the ones that got in the pockets with the government, and that's why they tax us to death. Pretty well to death. And even after you die, they tax you after you are being buried underground, and they tax the family who was responsible for burying you underground or even cremate you, whichever. Why are they taxing you to death? And it is, folks, illegal. It is illegal to tax people. In the 1951, they were taxing people during the Second World War because they thought they're going to help the war benefit. Okay? In 1951, they were supposed to remove the tax, but they didn't. Why? Because they knew very well they're going to make more money. So that's what they're trying to do, folks. I'm telling you, you need to start standing up for the rights of the farmers. Okay? You need to. I don't care how there's farmers. And if you do see a chicken farmer or you do see somebody who's actually selling eggs, buy from them first before you buy from a store, from a corporation. You can trust a farmer what they make, what they develop, and what they design and what they make. Buy from them. Buy locally. If they got beef, buy the beef. If they got vegetables and fruits, buy it from them. But make sure you check that they don't spray their stuff. If they're organically done, great. When you go to the store, if you're going to the store going to buy something, look at the numbers on the fruits and vegetables. If it has a certain number, it says organic, it means they're organic. You may spend a few extra dollars more because these are organic grown fruits and vegetables. Okay? I'm telling you, buy from the farmers first. Now, here's the thing. Last few years, thank you, Summer Rain, because I'll tell you what, my brother-in-law lives in Alberta, and he's a farmer. Okay, he works in the fields. He's actually a heavy-duty mechanic, but a lot of the farmers will tell you they're having lots of drought. Why? Because who's controlling the weather? Not God. Who's controlling the weather? So there's so many floods all over the world. We've got floods, we've got snow, we've got drought, we've got major amounts of rain, we've got hail, you name it, all over the world. But these are the most strangest places in the world that has never, ever happened before. Why? Because it is controlled by a corporation that they're the ones that are shooting the stuff from the sky. It's called cloud seeding. And they learn how to control the weather, including the under the ground. Now, under the ground, the reason why you're seeing lots of floods, because of all the human trafficking, that they have to flood the underground tunnels and the underground cities so no one survives. But they've already rescued the children, and they've already rescued the people that actually were human trafficked. The military did that already. Our commander-in-chief has already collectively grabbed all those people and rescued them, and whoever is running from them, those coyotes, guess what? They drown them. If they can't catch them, they're going to drown them. And that's exactly what they did. They've been doing this for a long, long time. Now, yes, we were getting earthquakes and earth tremors from fracking. It even happened here in BC. We get this side effect. We should never have fracking. I mean, but there's a better way of doing it. So Clark says, my friends refused to pay taxes with her business and claimed her life Russell J. Gould route. After a few years, her bank accounts were seized. We will see how that battle plays out. I myself try and work for cash when I can, as I am during the show. Thank you very much. Folks, I'm telling you guys, do not ever try to go digital, because if you think you're going to save money, you're not. There was someone actually started a story that if you take a $50 bill and you give someone $50, and then that $50 goes to the next person, and goes to the next person, next person, and the next person, and it goes all around, swings around into your neighborhood, and that $50 comes back to you again, right? But if it's a digital, you pay the digital fee, it stays in the bank, it stays with the person that you gave it to, because now it's that person's not going to take that money out of that bank account and they're going to give back to you. They won't. They keep it. That's your corporation. So the thing is, that's why our money flows so well. Cash flows better. And why do you call it cash flow? Because it goes so well in our hands, in and out the other, but back in our hands again. We're never without money. But if you let the big bankers control your income, these corporations, that's exactly what goes on, and they do harm. Now, Trudeau has been trying to seize bank accounts, him and Chrysler Freeland, and here in Canada, they've been trying to freeze bank accounts again because you are disagreeing with what they're doing in Parliament. And if they hear of your name, they seize your account. There are people out there protesting in Ottawa right now as we speak. And if they hear of their name, these RCMP officers that are arresting people, they're still arresting them off the street. They're saying that they are actually, they're arresting for the word threats. Nobody's threatening anybody. They're just protesting, again, for the freedom of speech. But Trudeau says, no, you don't get freedom of speech. I'm not going to give you freedom of speech. I am the leader here. I say so. I say so because I'm no longer prime minister. I'm going to be your first dictator because I'm going to do what my daddy did, which is Castro. His goal is to do whatever he wants, but whenever Trudeau gets cornered, he runs away. But he always gets other people to do his work for him, do the dirty work. Now, I've watched him trying to sly his way through to some of these gatherings that he wants to promote himself to be, again, reelected as the Prime Minister of Canada. Do you want Trudeau back as the next as a continuation as the Prime Minister to represent you, to control you, to tell you that you have to be in a 15-minute city the rest of your life? Do you want this man to say to you what you're worth? Because to him, you're not worth crap. He enjoys the pleasure, like he said to a group of people at a town meeting. I was in Vancouver. He was in Vancouver and he said this. And he said in his own words that he admires the CCP, how they control their own citizens in their own country, in their dictatorship. He admires them. And he says he's always wanted to do that. And guess what he's doing? He's doing the same thing. He's doing his dictatorship. Okay. And that happens. They play that role. Right. So let's see here. Nikki says low cost, the key word cost, nothing discounted. We pay for it regularly, and other costs such as our personal information. Give your info to get decrease. Our personal information is extremely valuable and highly profitable. Major companies is true. People are so worried, thinking our cash is not worth anything. There's a difference, folks. Cash is legal tender. A digital card, a credit card, is not legal tender. A credit card is actually like a lender, like you're paying the mafia. They're giving you permission to buy something with the mafia money. Okay, think about it, because they put the word interest rate. Oh, it's going to cost you. We can increase. Now, why do you think they're offering you to increase your credit? That's mafia. The mafias did the same thing. If you couldn't get money from the bank, you go to a mob boss like some other people, some places in other parts of the countries, they go to a mob boss. Hey, boss, can I borrow $10,000? Well, it's going to cost you with interest. You have to have this paid back to me by a certain time. Same thing. Okay, your credit cards are credit. Credit. Doesn't say cash, it says credit. You pay by interest. Guess what? When you get your bill every month, you're paying the interest first before you're able to pay the bill. And it stays with you the rest of your life because you keep on paying the interest rates. If you're unable to pay the whole fees that you wanted to get credited out for that 1 month or that 2 months or 3 months, guess what? The interest rates go up again more. And every year they increase the interest rates. So it went from 8%, 10%, 12%, 19%, 29%. Now a lot of your interest rates now are 36, 37, 38% interest. They know how to hang you. There's no freeze. There's no capping of freeze of your credit cards. They're doing it now. They're still, and these other low life bankers, new little corporate businesses, are trying to get you to get their credit cards. Oh, here, I'll give you a great deal. 6 months for free, no interest rates. The next thing you know, you're paying high interest rates and you're stuck with the contract. You can't get rid of the card. Cut it up all you want, but according to them, you still owe them. Right? We need those plants, like, thank you, Linda. We need those plants and trees. They need to grow because they're important to us. We need to breathe. Okay, if we don't have those trees, and they're talking about, like, months back ago, Gates kept on saying, we're going to close off the sky. We're not going to let the sun shine in. Why? Why are you going to close off the sky? Why did he say he wanted to close off the sky? Because that's all to do with our health. Okay. So Blair says, yeah, I couldn't my credit card off because they told me I would never catch up. So then they gave me a deal of paying out a certain amount, and it would be dropped because I would never get ahead. Paying the amount that was paying, each credit card, span. So they gave me a choice of a certain amount that I paid that off, and it was dealt with. Yeah. Okay. That's happens, folks. I'm telling you. You guys need to know. I just got on the show, so on the next hour I'll be doing readings, but right now we're focusing on what's going on right now as we speak. Please understand, folks. You need to be notified. And if you haven't seen the news, if you haven't seen it, what you're seeing on the news right now, the government is talking about wanting to ban all farmers from selling you products, the public. They want to shut down the farmers for not able to, they don't want, because they're saying that they're a carbon problem. You got some jerk off who's getting paid off by our government, a pretend doctor or scientist, who's going to say, oh yeah, the farmers are the problem. Yes, this is what the problem. This guy gets paid over $1 million just to make himself look as if he has authority, that he's the main man, all our doctors agree, all these scientists agree. No, they don't. It's to scare the shit out of you. If you want to agree with it, what they're going to do, you guys got a problem. Start standing up for your rights. You're going to have to start saying, I'm not, like, you got to stop doing this. I don't want to see it. I wanted to see it. I don't want to see it. You have to pay attention. These idiots are trying to tell you what you can or cannot have. They want to control you. This was actually predicted in the Bible. It was predicted a long time ago. I knew about this since the year 2000, that in the 21st century, our government was going to try to starve the public. It was even put into a cartoon back in 1932. To show you it was a prediction of starving the world, that they're going to fall down a hole, and you look in, you look normal, and they throw you in a hole, you come out real skinny and hunched over, starved. You know what their internment camp? They were talking about building internment camps. The 15-minute cities are the internment camps. They're making sure they can tell you that they can control you what you can or cannot have. I'm not kidding you guys. This is still going on. Okay. Now we are going to have an EBS. It's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to, I don't want to put scare tactic in you that you say, oh my God, now I might as well do something myself. I say, well, hell, it's not what's not worth living. No, I want you to say no to your government. Tell them how you feel, that you don't want any of this to happen, that it's not real, that they don't have the right. None. When you are electively electing, when you're voting for someone, okay, when you vote for someone, you're trusting them. But what you're expecting is for them to work for you. They're not working for you, they're working for themselves. Why do you think these guys that become politicians, they get paid between 400,000 to even more per year as politicians? And they create policies. And you get to see them on TV, and they're just jumping back and forth and blowharding, telling the story and argument back and forth it's a drama. They do this all the time. They want you to see who's going to win, who's going to lose. You know, they've already tried Eki. Here in Surrey has already started its 15-minute city. It's already started with City Hall. In fact, there's even on a website. You can type in the word Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, and type in the word 15-minute city, and you'll see them promoting it now. Now, these people that were the builders and even the city themselves thought the word 15-minute city they thought it meant where all your amenities are available around you. You don't have to worry about going any further than 15 minutes. All your amenities are around you. It means you don't have to drive a car. You live in the same region. All the stores are here. Everything that's your supply is right there. But you can't leave the city. They want you to keep within the 15 minutes, but you have to get a permission to leave that area, to even travel somewhere to go visit someone, but you're only allowed to do it maybe once a month and maybe once a year. They're making it where they want to tell you when you're allowed, and then if you're asked for permission, you have to write to the city hall to get permission, and then you got to pay for it. I'm not kidding you guys. This was their plan. But look it up. I'm seriously. The 15-minute cities has been going on and agreed. The experiment happened in Edmonton. It started in Regina. It started in Surrey and some other parts of Canada, in Ontario. The smaller village of towns, they haven't touched it at all, and they never will because the small towns don't care. So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to put a scare in you. They're trying to do this including, like I said before, they're trying to use the farmers and fear factoring you. So here's my say in this. You contact those local farmers. You go see them in person. Stop going to the regular stores, because if you can't trust them anyways, I bet you their fruits and vegetables are far more healthier to go to a farmer. Okay. They appreciate you coming down to see them, and you get to spend time with them. You get to talk to them, and like as if they're like family. If there's a certain amount of, say, fruits, vegetables that you need, ask them how much they've got or what's available. They'll make it. They'll have it available because they're the ones that do all the crops. Find other farmers. Get your meats. Get your supplies. Wherever you want to get, they'll have that available. I'm not kidding you. You get your eggs. Far better for you to get your eggs from a farmer than actually having to go to the store. You know why? I'll tell you why. Your farm eggs, if they're not washed completely, like you don't want to wash the eggs. If you brush them off, you don't wash them, they will preserve at least good 6 months in the refrigerator. But if you wash them, they absorb the water, then the eggs have to be eaten within the month. Okay, it's just a shell. But the fact is, it works. Right? They're all your farm fresh eggs are always farm fresh, and they're better tasting. There's no chemicals put into these. There's not these chickens that are not forced raised. These are free range. You know what I mean? They have their own little walkways outdoors, and they get to enjoy the grass, and they get all that stuff, right? But when you go to a corporate store, those are chickens that are bound in cages, and they're forced to lay eggs. That's why your eggs look so brightly yellow, almost transparent yellow, because they give them only one type of seed, and that's all they eat, right? Your farm fresh eggs, the yolks look darker, and they're tastier, right? Sometimes, like when I was a kid growing in the farm, or we had the farm, we used to put molasses into the chicken feed, into the grain, and they love the molasses. It sweetens up the eggs, which is natural. Same way we used to put molasses in the chop for the cows to eat. It makes the milk sweeter, and your butterfat count is even higher for your milk. I mean, most people may not realize when a milk business pasteurizes the milk. That means they spin it in a machine. They take all the nutrients out of it, and then they replenish it with their vitamins and whatever actually put into that. Why do people have side effects of saying they're allergic to milk? It's not the milk from the cow. It's what they do to the milk when it's processed after in the factory. I've never come across anyone that I know of that actually was allergic to milk directly from the cow. I'm talking about taken from the cow, and it's filtered through the machine into the tank, and you buy it filtered milk, which has the cream still in it, right? That you take it home. I remember years and years ago when I was a kid, when the milkman came to the door, the cream was at the top, and that's in the glass jars. Those lasted longer, but they came to the door early hours of the morning. You see the little trap door outside people's houses, and the milkman will show up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and he'd put them into there, take out their bottle, your empty bottles, and they exchange them and put in new fresh milk there, your butter, your cheese, whatever you want that ever relates to dairy. It was delivered. It was appreciated, and people always knew that they had the best of all things. But when that milk was put into stores, totally different. They decided to put them into cartons. They decided to put them into plastics. Well, you talk about plastics. If it sits in a plastic container too long, what happens to the plastic? Okay. Think about it. Because it can only withhold certain things for so long. It has a chemical breakdown. But if it's in glass, it's much more healthier. Now, mind you, what you can do is if you buy your milk or any creams or anything to do with liquids, transfer it when you get home, transfer it over into a glass jar. Same size as a quart, something the same size. Transfer that and then put that in your fridge because it's healthier. It doesn't like you guys know what the chemistry breakdown is. Okay, you will notice that you won't cough. Your milk is fresher. Some people, like if I bought a quart of milk and if I drank a quart of milk, or drank not quart of milk, if I drank a 4-ounce glass of milk from a store, I cough after I finish drinking that milk. I start coughing. It's something in that milk they put in there. It makes me cough. It's a side effect. Okay, that means that doesn't. I can develop an allergy. It makes me cough. But if I buy the milk from the farmer and drink that milk, fresh milk, I don't cough because it's fresh milk, right? So Roxanne in the chat room says we use our milk. We used to get our milk from the farmer, our jars, and we had cream on the top. My mom made homemade whipped cream or butter. Yes, we did too. We made homemade whipped cream and butter. My father used to make white butter. He would actually keep on whipping it more to turn it white, add more salt, and it would go white to make white butter. And both butters are great. I mean, not one's better than the other, but you got your regular common butter, which is a yellow color, and then If you whip it more, add more salt, goes to white. It's preference. Lighter tasty. Someone actually, I think they started using white butter because they want to put them on pancakes. It was it was a certain kind of specialty that chefs and cooks had. That's all it really was. I think the Galloping Gourmet came up with that idea back in the 70s. If you don't know who he is, look it up. The Galloping Gourmet. He's actually, I think he's on YouTube still, but was on YouTube, or he's on YouTube, but he was quite the guy. If you actually know if you know of his history. If you make ghee, you can store it for long periods of time. Yes. Like there are so many things, folks, that you can do with your foods, right? Like I said before, please understand we need to support our farmers. So anything you see that's out there, what the farmers are doing right now, in fact, last week in, I think it was Germany, the police showed up with an armored car. Okay, armored car. I watched the video. A huge green John Deere front end loader with other farmers. This is no word of a lie, folks. I watched this, and the police thought they're going to intimidate by coming out to beat up the farmers. They're wearing the shields, the helmets, the whole 9 yards. The farmers were behind the wheel in their front end loaders. That one John Deere, green John Deere front end loader, huge one, big one, drove into the SWAT vehicle, the armored car that belongs to the cops. There was nobody in it, but because it was parked on the road. But they drove into it. The bucket went under it and flipped it over. The cops couldn't do a thing about it because they warned them, and they were thinking about possibly even shooting the guy. But hey, they're telling you shoot one. The farmers are not scared anymore. Even the police are trying to take billy clubs and hit the farmers. And guess what the farmers are doing now? They're throwing rocks back, big rocks. They're not, and sure they got the police have got their shields up and their helmets on, but guess where they're throwing the rocks? At their ankles. The rocks, instead of throwing at them this way, they're throwing them at their ankles, and they're making them jump, and they keep throwing them at their ankles, and it forces them to move. Meantime, they're saying, you can't stop us, because they were billy clubbing the farmers. And the farmers weren't doing anything first. They didn't have nothing in their hands, but they're billy clubbing the farmers with her shields. Like they were mean, like they're acting like bullies with weapons. And the farmers wouldn't take it any longer to say, that's it. Now we're fighting back. So, and then there was other farmers that have manure balls. I watched it. The farmers had these manure balls and they were throwing them back at the police. It was so funny because now they got wet manure balls. And this one farmer had his manure sprayer in his truck, and he's manure spraying the police up and down the street on their shields. The cops are behind their shields, and they got sprayed with manure. I'm telling you, it was all over the cops. Okay? The cops were wiping out. They couldn't even turn around, and they fell on the ground, wiped out. I'm not kidding you guys. It was funny as heck. They're trying to get the videos out there. If you guys can find that video, but they got the videos out there everywhere. Please share those videos. The government's trying to prevent you from seeing anything that these farmers are sharing with us across the world. They're trying to block all the recordings. They're trying to block anything to do with emails. And that's why our country, even Google right now, is telling me, I was trying to send somebody some videos. Google got in, even though I have a google.com, Google even got into Gmail, got into my own Gmail and said to me that they don't agree for me sending certain videos to people, and they already went into my video. They're actually hacking. The Google is hacking our own Gmail, and actually they are reviewing our own email and telling us that we cannot send it, and they'll block it. I told them, and this is what I did. There's a criminal code, 3219. It's an international criminal code. You prevent anything from being sent to someone, you use that criminal code. Because if you don't, they will. If you don't use that criminal code on them, um, they don't know. They know what the criminal code is. Okay, this is Trump's criminal code. You use it on them, and you threaten them and tell them, say, back off, or you're going to be going to prison. Not federal prison, not provincial. You're going to jail, military. They'll back off. You can't let them get away with it. Okay, there is criminal codes that you can use. I'll have to make sure this is the correct number. I think there's 5 numbers. I have to look it up again. But these are to protect you. But you make sure you give these people warnings. Let's see here. Yeah, the chat rooms. I'm going to look back and forth back in the chat rooms here, both back and forth. I'm glad that YouTube is not bothering me right now. Because before they'll end up either muting my mic or they would shut me down. Oh, I'm not kidding you. Even we know that Trudeau, the real Trudeau, is not here. But this actor, and we're still going through a movie right now. We're also going through this whole review, and that's why I'm just telling you guys, you need to see what's going on, and you need to fight back and say enough is enough. Bullshit and bullshit. Because as of the month of March is about to begin, this is where they're going to try and see if they can try and scare you to submit or capitulate. Do not submit to anyone telling you what you can or cannot have. Do not, please understand, do not line up on a self service, as in buying product and you're actually doing, self-serve. Go to the person that is a cashier, buy from them, have them do the thing for you. I don't give a rat's butt, because you're taking work away from these cashiers. The more people that line up to do self-checkouts, the more then you're supporting a corporation to get rid of those employees, and then they don't have work. Let's see. Linda says this will wake up people from if they push too far. Look out. The actors may receive more than they want. You see, the thing is, folks, the corporations they want you to see what they're doing. And someone said to me the other day, he said, well, then if Trump is supposed to be, for commander-in-chief, why isn't he arresting these people? If he arrested him already, and half the world doesn't even really want to know what's going on, if he arrested him already, then the corporation would blame him, saying that it's his fault. And you guys would fall through the same cracks. This way, he's letting you see the truth. So then it gives you a motive, it gives you an incentive to know that you're going to say, you know what, enough is enough. Those guys got to go behind. Those guys need to be arrested. Those guys need to stop. And then there'll be a time when Trump's going to say, okay, take them. Okay. I'm telling you, this is what he will never let you become harmed, but it can go so far, because some people can lose their lives on account of this, and they will perish. It's happening even now today with so many people getting snake bites, and they're still carrying on doing the snake bites. I got a friend of mine that's got a brain tumor now. Now, he already went in last year, he got this snake bite, and the next thing, with a matter of not even months, He had a brain tumor size of a golf ball. He had to go in to the hospital and they removed it. And he thought, okay, fine, he's going to recover. A year later, that golf ball now is twice the size. It came back again. For some reason, I guess they didn't get it all of it, and he came back again. Now he went back into the hospital, and they had to take it out again. Now his exercise is having to do his own therapy. He's got to take a squeeze ball or in his hand to get the brain to think, to exercise. And also, again, they're trying to get him to think. It is a cancer that's in his brain. He's got brain cancer. But I know there is solutions to fix that. But the thing is, I've watched today when I took my wife to the hospital, to the cancer clinic earlier today to get her blood checked. And I watched a whole bunch of people come out of the hospital still wearing the masks, double masks, getting in the car, driving with their masks on still. I've seen ambulance drivers coming out still wearing masks, fully covered, sometimes wearing hazmat suits. I mean, it's still, they're still doing this bullshit. My wife said when she was in the hospital, everybody's wearing a mask again. Everybody. They're handing masks, telling them they have to wear a mask again. No, they don't. You can refuse, folks. You're not forced to wear a mask. Oh, what if it comes back? What if it comes back? Stop it. You see what happens? Oh, we need to get that boost. That boost. Really? I'll give you my boost. A foot in the ass. But that's exactly what these people are so foolishly doing. They keep on getting more snake bites and they wonder why. Sudden death. Another friend of mine, another person. I've lost so many friends and family members this last 6 months. And it's like, to me, I can't get emotionally caught up in it because I already know what to expect. But there are people out there that don't want to believe. They want to believe that everything is okay, that this is natural. No, it's not. They want to believe that, oh, well, if you line up to get it, that it's okay. No, it's not. Okay, Clark says they told me to put a mask on when I went for a scan, and I said no, and then they didn't push it. But when I went to a radiologist office, they took theirs off when they saw I wasn't wearing one. Of course, you see, they know. Nobody has to wear a mask anymore. They don't. But see, it's just because the corporate bosses upstairs, these are the guys that make money on the board. These are the guys, the ones that tell you what to do. They're not doctors. They're just investors. Okay. The investors of the hospitals, they're the ones that tell you what you got to do because they make money. When those masks come out and they hand them to you, for every time they hand you a mask, they're making money. Did you know that? It's money for them, handing you the mask. And they're handing you a mask by using salad tongs. Not by here's the box, pull one out. No, they're handing you a salad tong with a mask. A salad tong. And expecting you to take it. And then that person standing there behind this piece of plastic wall, and she goes, and they try to intimidate you, stare at you. No. Sorry, guys. We have been so brainwashed to wear that foolish piece of paper and what's inside of it. I mean, I've got a video that will blow you away. Okay. And in that video shows this is what this doctor did. He took hot water, put it into a bowl. Okay. Not completely hot, but just hot, steaming enough. Took out one of those blue masks, placed it over the water. Okay. So basically it represents our mouth when it's closed off. because we also have saliva and moisture as well, and heat. Not even, not even 5 minutes. And he shows you there's little white worms coming out of the fabric, moving around like this. They're trying to get out of the steam. White worms. Those are called kamikaze hookworms. Now, where do those kamikaze hookworms come from? They come from CHINA because they're embedded. Embedded into the fabric. They're from that country. If you look at the box, it's made in China. When something's made in a factory, it's different, but these are hand done now. They're actually, they hire, the contract out, they're piecework people to make these things for you now. They're for the company. It's cheaper to piecework than actually is factory made. If you want to wear a mask, and I'll tell you, if you want to wear a mask, make your own. But bloody well wash it after, because a lot of people got sick wearing it for so long. You don't wear it continuously. If you're in temporarily, if you're going to wear it, put it under your nose, not above your nose. At least you can breathe in here. It's called oxygen. We're born in this world with this nose sticking out, so it can breathe. If we were born with this on our face, then we would have had a hubcap placed on it a long time ago. We were wearing it all our lives, but we didn't. But when someone invents something that has supposed to get us sick, and we believed it because they brainwashed us for 2.5 years, and they're still trying to brainwash the public. Okay? So, like I said before, if you want to keep on wearing that mask, that's your choice, but you're going to regret it. I'm not kidding you. If you want to see the video, ask me and I'll send it to you. You'll see the truth. I got the video, the copy of it, of the mask, what happens to it, what comes out of it. And you're going to go like, oh, I don't want to wear this. Then don't. You'll know. like I'm trying to point out, guys, we are dealing with an energy shift. We're dealing with an earth shift right now where we're going through a lot of shifting and changes. I'm sure you guys are noticing that ever since, if anybody you know is actually that has already been snake bitten continuously, that they are feeling weaker. They're having health issues, aches and pains, leg problems, headaches. People are having sudden deaths, heart attacks, strokes. These are side effects. Okay. This is not common. Too many people. I've had friends, 4 friends. Actually, a friend of mine had 3 family members dying in a matter of a week apart. 3 family members dying. It's 3 in a week apart. And they all went in together to get the snake bites. And yet now they're not here with us. And you wonder why. And people say, and the government's going, oh, well, that's common. People do have to pass away. Or they won't answer you. They look at you real stupid. Or if you see if you see the mainstream media, MSM, you see them showing up wearing masks on their face and they're the camera people. And the first thing you do is you ask them, oh, why are you wearing the mask? They won't answer you. They have their coldness in their eyes like this. And they avoid confronting you, talking to you about why they're wearing a mask. You know why? Because they don't want you to identify who they are. All you see is their eyes. Because if you basically confront them about why they're wearing a mask, because the person just said, why are you wearing a mask? They don't ask you. They don't answer you. You can ask all you want. But I do tell people, how did it feel? Were you happy before all this ever happened? Did you have a happy life before all these masks are coming out? And they said yes. And I said, then why are you still wearing it? Because you don't look happy to me. Bring your smile back, because you with that thing on your face doesn't show a smile. It shows fear. You're afraid to live. Then they change their mind. I show them the video too, by the way, the worms coming out of the paper, and they're going like, gone. Same thing that they're wearing, same material, same fabric, same company. It's gone. Scare them straight. Nikki says, when I had to wear one, I had a different one for each day, and then I had to be out, and it was hardcore mandatory here. And then when it was used that night, it got washed. Yeah, make sure. Despised it. Couldn't shop without one, or they would escort me out. People out. In the past, I can understand, but there is no law. Like the word mandatory. Okay, and I'll explain something to you guys. The word mandatory is not a law. The word mandatory means you submit. It means you submit it to them. It was a rule. It was never a law. Mandatory was never a law. It never was a law. They'll say, well, it's mandatory to do this. No, you're submitting. You're giving them permission to tell you what to do. And they can't really escort you out, because you can just say, you know what? I have the right here. This piece of paper tells me that I don't have to wear one. Right. And but there are going to be some stores that are still going to try and play that game, and they cannot escort you out because they're a business. And here's what people are using now a lot lately. Oh, you're trespassing. Oh, you're trespassing. Now I tell them this. Oh, your sign says open. That means you're a business. That means you're welcoming the public, right? Correct? Yes. Then it's not trespassing. It's not called private property. It is open to the public to enter. It is a business, not private property. And then they have their security guards there, and the security guards will say to you, yes, it's private property. No, it's not. Look it up. Okay. When they hire security guards, they hire bullies. And then these bullies will carry handcuffs, and they want to handcuff you. And I just tell them, you put handcuffs on me, you're going to prison. And you're not coming out. So make a choice. Oh, you can't put me to prison. I'm blah, blah, blah. I said, no, I'm serious. I have friends in the military that will come and collectively collect you guys. You will go one way in, you'll never come out. So make that decision. Those handcuffs were never meant to hold anyone. It is illegal to use handcuffs on people, because you are illegally withholding people. You cannot handcuff anyone. That's called kidnapping, and I'll charge you for kidnapping. I'll also charge you for extortion. So you make that decision. It is a law. They'll back off. Most of them will back off, or they'll still play the bully. Well, you got to leave. No, I'm not leaving. And if they want to push you out, try, hey, keep on pushing me out, but make sure you record them, right? And then you say, okay, 911. Use 911. This guy here knocked me down, assaulted me, and he has no title whatsoever, no right whatsoever to even knock me down, push me out, because I have the right to walk on into this building, because it is open to the public. It says opened. It's not called private property. Every freaking this word private property came up by the government officials when someone wanted to visit a police officer at a police station with a camera. The police will say it was private property. No, it's not. It's owned by us. We, the taxpayers. We own it. They don't. Okay. Walk into a government building. They call it private property. No, it's not. We own it. We are the taxpayers. We actually own it. So I can kick them out. Do you understand? This is the problem that most people are not paying attention. What they're doing, they're thinking that they have the right to tell you what to do. Look up your laws. When you enter into a store, when the sign says open, you have the right to walk on that property and walk in the building. They cannot call it private property. It's not private property. Never was. If it was private property, then no one has to be allowed, and that means no one's allowed to be in that building at all. You might as well just close the building off completely and not be open at all. And no one ever enters. That's called private property. It means all the door is locked. Private property means locked doors that no one can enter. And it's no longer a business. It means it's considered a private business or a private center. They cannot use the word private property. It is loosely used to get you believing that they can tell you what to do. And security guards they are called rented police officers. They're rent-a-cops. They will always want to be police officers. I want to grow up to be a police officer, but I can't because I'm dumb. And they're bullies. They're worse than police officers. All they want to do is to play the game and see if they can go after you. There's actually a video of one of the security guards. This happened in Edmonton. A security guard was actually going after these two boys, and one was 12 or 13. One was 12, one was 13. Big guy, and he actually was asking them too many questions, and they talked about sex. And there was a guy that overheard this, pretend to be the dad, and came up to those two boys, and said, "Hey, come on, kids, let's go." And the guy says, "Who are you?" "I'm their father." Oh, that guy that was trying to go after those two boys was a pedophile, hired by the store. You see, they're hiring pedophiles now. And this guy had a criminal record. He's not supposed to be seen anywhere near any children, on anyone under the age of 16. And they hired him as a security officer, and they knew that. But because what Trudeau had done, what Trudeau has actually done a couple years back is he pardoned every pedophile in Canada. So that has to get fixed. Anyways, now let's talk about energy. It's important. I need to bring this up too, by the way. Have you guys noticed that you're having also strange sleeps, sleepless nights? You swore you thought you had an 8-hour sleep, but it feels like 2. You're waking up confused, or you thought you already had a good night's sleep, but yet you wake up and you feel still sleepy. You feel like the days are moving faster and the months going quickly. And it is. Why? Because, and I'll explain this why, we're going through a time shift right now, and we're going from the Gregorian, okay, to they're going from the Gregorian calendar to the Julian, back to the Julian, the original calendar, which was actually the 13 months. We're going back to the 28 days. So the Earth is still shifting going back and forth. It's slowly bringing itself back, where we will eventually take back our 13 months and take back our 28 days each month. We will actually have that 13th month back into our calendar. See? And like Wendy here says, I have had so many nights that I do not sleep at all. Exactly. Why? Because the Earth is shifting. It's going through a lot of shifting. We're going from the third dimension into the fifth dimension. So it's like, say this is the Earth, and I've showed this before, but say this is the Earth. It's like a nucleus. So what's happening is slowly coming apart. So anybody who's actually going through a energy shift, okay, I'm not talking about the clones. I'm not talking about who's good and who's bad. I'm talking about energy shift. People that actually are trying to be more spiritual, trying to stay with the world and trying to help people out. Like, there's so many great things that happens for all of us, including family that you love. But the thing is, that's what happened. The Earth is going through the Earth right now is going through its own climate change, but it's climate changing. It has nothing to do with us. We're not the ones causing the Earth to do this. It was scheduled for it to happen. This is the nucleus. And start coming apart like this, and it looks like this. Like now you're going to have two Earths. Those who become a higher consciousness, like myself, for example, or anyone else, all of us, many of us are shifting to the second Earth, Earth number 2. You guys, I'm sure you've seen a lot of these movies, or these superhero movies talk about the Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4, that sort of thing. That's exactly what we're going through. It is actually anything you see in these comic books relate to what really is happening. We are going through a time shift, and we're also going through a transition. We're shifting over to another Earth. Now, does part of myself stay behind here and then the rest of it goes to this place? I don't know. But all I know is that that part of me is going here too. Now, is that all of me going there? I don't know. But I do know I've noticed a bigger time shift for me. I know I have aged quicker, but yet I'm still feeling young. My memory is retaining greatly. I used to have short feelings that my memory used to be like I used to try to remember people's names and go like, oh, I remember him, but couldn't get my brain thinking. And then all of a sudden, after we start going through the transition changes, I'm going like, holy crap! My memory is things are coming out. I'm saying things that I didn't even realize I can do. So this is why we're going through this shift. Elon's okay. Kathy says Elon is working towards purchasing the Marvel franchise. Yeah, I know. You know why? Because what most people may not know, the guy who owned Marvel, okay, who actually was the writer, and he himself actually met some people secretly and they showed him things that are going to happen in the future. So he used those stories in his comics. He's been doing it since the 50s and 60s. So it's not just, and then also Spirit was doing coming into his dreams and telling him, here's what you need to talk about. People who write books, people who tell stories, storytellers, Spirit likes to inspire you and tell these stories because it's important. When I wrote my book, I was in Spirit wanted me to write the stories in my chapters, which helped a lot of people. There's so many good writers out there, people out there that are in the spiritual field that were told to write books. One or two, maybe see, for example, Sylvia Brown, she did 28 books. 28 books. Why? She may have had ghost writers to help her, but those books were done because this is the amount of knowledge that she had taken on, and she greatly improved. But her books are also considered as a threat to the government because she was predicting things that were going to happen, and they did. They did. Now, was she a threat? Yes, she was. Was Jordan Maxwell a threat? Yes, he was. And you guys let me know who Jordan Maxwell was. There are many psychics and mediums that made predictions. I made predictions that certain things that were going to happen, and they did. After I did the UFO conference, I mentioned things. I did share some stories, some things that were going to happen in for 2023 and 24. And now I didn't realize that I said it. I forgot all about it, and then I watched my video that I did at the conference because they recorded me, and I thought, holy crap, I did say that, and it was my prediction. So every one of us is shown visions. Certain things are going to happen that we're supposed to share to help everybody out. And that's what it's about, right? So anytime they're going through a time shift, it's physical body changes, internal body structure. And then again, like I said before, there's a lot of people going through sudden deaths. We ourselves are going through body aches. Sometimes we feel like sometimes we're having migraines. A lot of people are having migraines. People that are into the healing field, we have migraines or feel like we're kind of lethargic feeling. Myself, I'll go through a complete sweat. I have no control over it. And I'm sitting in my chair. Next thing you know, I'm out like a light. I'm out and I'm sleeping, or at least I think I am, like a meditation. I close my eyes on the chair and I'm gone. And I don't wake up. Like I'm sitting in the chair in the morning. I don't wake up until 9:30 at night, even though I already had a full night's sleep that night. Woke up in the morning. Why? Because Spirit wanted me to see all these little things, sectional things that I had to see. I wrote them down and why I had to see it. Part of it, one of it was when I saw a giant angel, huge. I mean, I swore I saw a giant foot, an angel's foot wearing a sandal in my living room, size of my own house. And then she shrunk herself down and talked to me and told me things and what things I need to know about, what to prepare for, what to expect. And that we're going to go through that 3 days of darkness. I'm not talking about the 10 days of blackout. I'm not talking about the movie review or the the lockdown to the point where we're going to be watching the tribunals. This is a 3 day of darkness, which is where there's no sun, no moon, darkness. We cannot look out the windows. We have to stay in our homes and pray for those 3 days, and just to focus on taking care of each other in our home. I saw it. Now, when is this going to happen? I have no idea. But they did say that the great horns will call in the sky. They sound like giant tubas, and you'll know. All the whole world will hear that sound. And that was to let us know, be prepared, but do not look out your windows, because the dark forces will be looking for those who look out the window, and you don't want to get caught up in it. Now, again, I don't know when. Could be 10, 20 years from now. I don't know. But they showed this to me to be prepared, or if it does, to be aware of it. Right? So the thing is that I just have to I'm still trying to figure that part out. But I also saw people that are clones, that a lot of actors, actresses, singers, entertainers, people you thought that were fantastic people, they became clones. But once they turn on this certain kind of machine, that these towers will get turned on. They're called cathedrals. When they turn those on, this is not the 5G. They're called cathedrals, which are a different kind of energy. It will not. It'll confuse the clone, the brainwave, and they'll fall face down into the earth. And there's no movement. Like, they're done. The consciousness leaves. They're done. And like basically saying they're no longer here. The ones that were no longer clones are already gone. Okay. So we have to go through the experience of seeing what really happened. This is why we're going through all this. I have no idea. All I know is that it's called the cleansing, but it's not cleansing the good people like you and I. It's to cleanse and to pick up the remains of who's bad. All the bad people are going to be taken away. So they're not kidding around. They're collectively saying, God's just saying enough is enough. Kira, okay, Kathy says, curious, how does the average lay person understand if they are going to this new earth? Everyone will be shown in a dream. This is kind of interesting. Billions and millions of people are going to be shown in dreams what to do, what to prepare for. So it's not just me giving you the heads up. It's also to let you know that they're going to come to you as well and show you in a dream, and not to forget, and then write it down. I got to tell people, just make sure you have a pad and paper by your side, by your bedside. If by some chance you're, woke in a dream, and you had It may not make sense to you sometimes, but just write them down, write the whole story down. And then you can look at it later after you wake up and you go like, okay, now what does this mean to me? And it's probably to show you, is to prepare you. The world is not going to be wiped out. We're not having, like I said before, from the beginning of the show, we're not having a nuclear war. It's a nucleus war. Not nuclear, it's a nucleus. Basically, we're going through transition. We're going through a shift. And it's still happening. We're not done yet. But I look forward to it. It's like saying, get rid of the old and begin the new. But we're going to be living longer, healthier. Um, people are so caught up believing that this is the all we have left is this. We don't. There's more to this world. There's more to the worlds. There's more to the universe. Everything here around you, as well as myself, with all of you guys that are watching what I'm doing, we're all participants in this. We all chose this. We're all in this together. And yet, whether you believe or disbelieve, the fact is you will know. You'll be shown. I'm giving you guys a heads up. I'm showing you what's going to happen, right? What could happen. Kathy says, when I see someone or hear someone talking about someone, I get a vision or knowing that certain people are going to pass soon. And sure enough, when they pass, I just tell myself, there's another one. There's another one. And how is it all that possible? Is this a gift of mine? Yes, each of us are giving a gift to foresee, to prepare who's going to leave us, who's going to be born, when. We can't always predict the future and say who's going to pass away because it's not our problem. But to prepare someone, if they're ill, I would also come up to that person and say, well, you know what? I have a message for you if you want to give this to you. And they said, okay, what is it? And I said, you need to start taking care of your health more. And I'm not going to say to them, if you don't take care of your health, you're going to die. I always tell them, take care of your health more, because it's important that you do this, because I have this sense of feeling that you're not going to do any better if you don't. So it gives them a conscious intention of wanting to take care of themselves, and they'll do it. You don't have to describe it, just to say this is what you are seeing, and they do. People will make that decision whether they're going to do it or not. We all have to. Everyone has a choice of making a soul decision whether they want to take care of themselves or not. I have been told this for years. There's a guy that told me that I was not going to make it past 40. I'm past 40. Many years later, another lady told me I was not going to pass 60. I'm past 60. But she says I'm not going to make past 60. Why? Because she says she thinks I'm not going to make it. Well, why is she giving me this warning? It's for me to take care of myself. I have to be responsible for me, to take care of me. And same thing. Like, I'm here still, and I still want to be here longer. I'm not done. I'm sure God, if God's going to make that decision, if God's going to come and see me and say, Derrick, it's time to go now. Okay, it's time to go. But right now, I got things to do. And I don't fear death, because I've had so many near-death experiences. I've already been across and back again. But I chose, because I want to stay longer, to help people, and this is my job. I enjoy doing it. I'm not here to scare tactic anyone or to fearmonger people. My job is to share with you that there's such a great amount of wonderful things that are going to happen for all of us. The whole world may not realize it's time to wake up, but we need to stand also with those people that work so hard, that are born into this work, whether it's a farmer, laborer, anybody in the health field, you name it, whatever they can do to try to help us, support them. But if there's people out there trying to harm us, share with the world. Here's people that are not good for you. Don't mess with them, because they're not here for you. They're there for themselves. Because those people that are there, selfish and greed, they're going to be shown their life review as well, and they're going to say, "Oh, I screwed up." and then they'll realize after that what they shouldn't have done. But these people that are harming us, they chose the dark side. You know, typical Star Wars. They chose the dark side, and they're going to pay for it, and they'll pay for it dearly. Nikki, can't wait to meet the souls who chose to be my grandchildren. Hasn't happened yet, but so looking forward to it. Yeah, all this is going to happen, folks. The things begin to happen. You're going to be like, so exciting. Okay, I'm going to open the lines. I've got 360-566-2875. And also I have my other number. It's 604-818-8375. You look at the top number, you see two lines of numbers. I have those numbers open for you folks if you want to phone in and ask a question. If you want to ask anything, ask about what I'm talking about, not this evening, tonight. And or if you're wanting to ask a question for a quick read, you're more welcome. The lines are open right now. And let's see here what else to share with you. Yeah, that's it. Like I said before, I was on late tonight. Hey, guess what, folks? 11:11. The time is 11:11. Hee. That's a positive number. A little bit of coffee. Area code 140.
Well, this is Kathy Underwood.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. I was wondering, like, when you were doing readings, I was going to call, but if you have any insight as to what's going on in my life, anything you pick up on, I'd greatly love to hear it.
Sure. It's been a while since I talked to you, my girl.
I know a lot's happened. I did end a long-time relationship that went on for 4 years too long. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. But that was my life. I dated a very high-profile person for 5.5 years, and I'm thankful that whole thing has come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk about vampire energy, yeah, that took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
So I'm healing from all that. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's what happens. But the thing is, like, I remember when I trained you with your skills. So this helped you even to learn more about yourself. You know, to even develop even more of a courage to say, now I know what I need to see. Now I know what I need to deal with. So, but it also helped give you focus of saying, like, you're not you're not done, right? So what I do see for you is that there, even though you've left this relationship, time gone by, but you're going to go into another new one, but it won't happen until 2025. But when it does happen, you're going to feel very happy about it, because it's almost like as if before, I would say, you're going to go through some personal physical healing first, emotional, mental healing, but it's also going to be you're also going to be doing another class with someone. I'm not sure who the person is, but it's going to help develop your sensors more, like your intuitive sensors, like a sound, like something to do with sound. And it's going to give, like, not ear piercing, but it'll almost help you vibrate, understand, like it's almost like a brain train, like a tuning in the brain. And so when you learn to do this is where you'll end up meeting this person. I'm not going to say this person will be a client, but I'll say that whatever course you're at, like with a group of people, you're going to be introduced to this person. That's part of the class possibly. And that's where the dating comes in.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because I kind of sensed that. I am going to be starting a course pretty soon, but it's online, and that is on. I'm going to sneeze. That is on an aspect of mental health.
Yeah.
For I lost my train of thought. But anyway, an aspect of mental health. But taking more action in your life, because I've been in it. just kind of looking at life for about the past 10 years, kind of, like I said, kind of healing my brain, whatnot. But I just, I'm just downsizing from being in a survival mode where, yes, to prepare for certain things is prudent. However, I do see that there's a lot of things I don't need in my environment. So I'm letting go of, personal items or, possessions and things like that.
Yeah.
But I just sense that, I'm making a lot of changes for the good. And yes, I help people along the way, randomly pay it forward, and whatnot. I just lost my train of thought, but anyway,
no, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
What's going on?
Yeah, because what you're really doing is you're putting a lot of focus on what you've always wanted to fulfill, and you're doing it now. So you're not really causing your brain to not think right, but you're looking for focal points, and you're trying to say, okay, I have accomplishments. These are things that I want to do. So write them all down. Anything you want to fulfill, write them all down, because those are your goals. Like your PowerPointing your future.
Yeah. And I don't have a mainstream job per se. My sister called from Portland area, a while back, and I don't talk to her that often, but she just called out of the blue to say, how are you doing it? How are you making it? You haven't had a job in 10 years. And I said, yeah, that is very an interesting phenomena, that however it came to pass, I've done okay for a while, and now it's like, okay, well, what do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to do? How can I help people make an income? All those things to help further service to others, while also safeguarding myself, right? But the world's changing, and I understand there's people that have food insecurity and housing insecurity, and people that don't have a job, and every day, even with all that, I'm saying, there by the grace of God go I, and I do realize that the time is changing, the world is changing, and I am here for a reason, or I sense that there's something bigger. But I dream. I have flashes of light. I don't think it's my eyesight, but that's changing too. So I'm just
no, like if you're getting flashes of light, does not mean it's your eyesight. It's actually you're being shown. Like what happens is that I remember I used to get flashes of light on the side of my eyes, and then I thought, especially if I'm driving, in the daytime, and I thought, okay, what's going on? Well, I realized after I was say whatever was in my system, I was depleting that my body needed. So I tested myself and I asked Spirit, what do I need to require to improve my eyes again? They said, do this, this, and this. So I did that. And then that flashing of the light on the side of my eyes quit. It looked like little lightning strikes, looked like little tiny pieces of lightning. And I knew then. So it's not because your eyes are giving you a problem, but your body was lacking something. My body was lacking something. So I fixed it. So the same thing yourself, whatever it is that you are seeing, and no matter if it's through dream time, meditation time, you name it, it's still part of your vision. But when you start seeing these, you're shown for a reason, and what it does for you, when I take a breath, sometimes my energy gets really, really intense. I can feel the energy come through me. That's why sometimes I have it's almost like a hiccup to me. Like it feels like I have to stop and take a breath. But yours, it's going to be like gangbusters. Like you're going to have, when you start seeing more, it's almost like you're able to see through a veil, that you'll have the ability to see people from the other side talk to you.
Yeah, I do have conversations of lots of people in the room in a dream time. 3 times I've had a circle of people at the ceiling level in my home. One of them was the mother of the person that I was dating, and she popped in 3 times. One time she just kind of hid in the corner, then she came out, and then she spoke. And one time, I was upset with her, and I had an argument with her, loud words, I should say, and she just covered her face with her hands and hid in the corner.
Oh,
And I understand that when people pass, they like is it Sylvia Brown? I think it's Sylvia Brown that talks about this, and Dolores Cannon too. When people pass, they're not the same physical vision how you knew them in real life.
No.
Their spirit form changes.
Yeah. Basically,
Yeah.
the physical body is not connected, but their spirit, their consciousness is even much more aware of what's going on, but they're highly evolved. And, like I tell people, you're far more highly evolved. Like someone just asked in the chat room, says, what happens to the souls of the cabal, the bad guys, when they pass? Well, even though the souls of the people, one person said this one time, and I heard them say this, and they were saying, oh, well, if anybody becomes the cabal, because what happens is if the aliens take over your brain, and then when they take out that person's body, now is the consciousness controlled by the alien, or is that consciousness gone? Well, I tell people this: if the alien takes over your body, and that means it's not yours anymore, so the consciousness will leave. That means your consciousness has already crossed over into the light. So whoever's taken over your body, taken over your memories and pretending to be you, then they themselves are going into the darker side. So it means that everything is, I mean, it's kind of confusing in one way of saying it, but the baddies are gone. Like, as in, I would say they'd be serving hell. But those like I tell people this: you can sell your soul to be famous, but your soul will never be able to be taken by the dark side, by Satan or God or the devil, because God owns the souls. He owns them. You can't even sell your soul because it belongs to him. Okay. The souls are there specifically to learn lessons through you for what you've learned and earned. So, and yet, like I tell people, Satan thinks that he can have everything. Can't. Doesn't happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the person that carried the consciousness through that person's body, they're safe. They're in spirit. They, sure, they're all entitled to make mistakes, but they'll come back again and learn to be a better person. Everyone's entitled to make mistakes because they're called learning lessons. So, you may see they may have gone through some extremes and learn the hard lessons for how they lived their life. But again, some were forced to become bad, to go that way, because some people lost their lives and became clones, because the ones that didn't want to become clones possibly could have got taken out, by the bad guys, the cabal. And so they said, we'll replace you with a clone so we can tell you what to do. And so the real person that's supposed to have survived could be still downstairs in those, on that other so-called bed, or that person is gone, passed away. But they like that, tell people, they transfer the consciousness over to the clone. So that means what happens to that body, we don't know. I have no idea. But we're all gonna we'll learn all about it later on down the road, when they'll say, here's what happens, here's what they did. Yeah. But we're just looking for logical answers.
Yeah, well, thank you. Do you see anything else there? I mean, otherwise,
I think you're doing. I think you're doing fantastic, my dear. Just keep up the good work.
Okay.
Keep brain.
All right.
Keep brain training.
Yep. Lots to know there. I finally took all my books, from many different directions of my home, bought some bookshelves, and I am hooking up rice equipment is the next thing I'm working on. I purchased it all. It showed up, and I didn't have desk area. So now I'm going to be putting together all of that. So once I work with frequency there, that will also help my brain.
That's going to help you a lot. Rife equipment.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. And I can help other people too. And so that's what, but I just didn't have the computer. I didn't have the desk. I didn't have my books on a shelf. And out of all, I started with Sylvia Browne years ago, and out of all the books I own, I don't even own one of her books. I am so shocked that I don't own any of her books, but I've seen them all and followed her here and there whenever she popped up on TV in the, in the 70s and 80s. And, but yeah, I have lots of works from lots of different, people. So it's, I figured, okay, well, when the power goes out, I'll just read.
When I met Sylvia back in 2000 in the 90s, late in the 90s. And, I stood up for her. She was actually on Larry King one time. And Larry, and she was with Char Margolis and James Von Prague on TV. And the magician, James, what the hell was his name? That magician. And he had, I forgot his name. Anyways, he was picking on those three. And he was trying to prove them wrong, that they're no good at what they do. And so, anyways, I stood up for them on my radio show, and I guess Sylvia heard that. And so I was when I was with 1410 CFUN, and they phoned in and thanked me for my support on their side, because what I viewed, James Randi was the one that actually James Randi was the one that was trying to say that I called James Randi a psychic stalker. And because he's a magician, he's a practiced magician, and sure, he worked for some devious people, but James Randi had no money to prove that these people were professionally and really good at what they do as psychics. And he said he had this psychic school, or not psychic school, but he was going to test these people, and everyone at anybody who offered themselves to be tested, James Randi said he was going to give them $1 million. Well, Sylvia proved herself, and she took the test and she passed, and the same with a few other psychics. And James Randi never paid her. And
yeah, I heard something.
He never paid her, and yet, and the reason why he never paid her, because he didn't have the money. But someone gave him an idea, and this person got James to actually tell a whole bunch of people across the world, say, if you donate $1 to our organization, just $1. And then we'll thank you for the support. So there's over 1 million people that sent him $1. And then, sure, now he had that $1 million in his bank account. That was supposed to be given to Sylvia, and she never received it. And Sylvia said that she would never have used it. She would have donated it. And that pissed off James Randi. So he didn't like that at all. And then they tried to destroy her reputation, even Coast to Coast AM, when George Norrie was on. George Norrie was trying to destroy her reputation on radio on Coast to Coast. And even Sylvia came on, and she was trying to tell him certain things. And George specifically cackled like a demonic man on his show. And he says, I'm going to destroy you. As far as I'm concerned, you're a fake, you're a fraud, and I'm going to destroy you. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm going like, George, you asshole. No wonder Art Bell hated you. And then I said, no wonder why Art Bell didn't like you. So, you see what I mean? Little circles of people I know. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Again.
Take care. Take care, my dear.
All right. You too. Both of you. All right. Take care. Bye.
Nice to hear from her. Okay, so the phone number is open, folks. 360-566-2875 and or 604-818-8375. Got my phone number available if anyone wants to call in to ask a question regarding whether reading or regarding the program. Please feel free to call in. The lines are open right now because we had 11:11. So What else to talk about here? Again, folks, fight for the farmers. The farmers need to be helped out. Don't believe everything you see in the government trying to tell you that the farmers are actually causing carbon problems. They never did, none whatsoever. Area code 120. I'm sorry, 206.
Hey, Derrick, it's Nikki in
Hi.
Seattle.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
How's the weather over your side?
It snowed and it didn't stick, so very thankful.
Cool. Okay, that's cool.
Lots of rain, typical for Seattle area
Yeah.
and the outer regions. So I would like to know.
Yeah. Go ahead, my dear.
Well, I would like to know about, and I'm please correct me if it's not okay. I would like to know how long it's going to be that I'm going to be dealing with the government asshats. That's what I call them.
The asshats?
Yeah, the ones that have had problems with me. I nicknamed them asshats.
Well, basically, you will for a short time, but not forever. I would say probably be dealing with them for about the next 6 months, and then it'll start to alleviate down to the point where there's no longer necessary to worry about them anymore.
Awesome.
So it's what you're going through right now is just you are committing a stronghold and speaking up for the rights of the people. So, but after that 6 months, the proof will be in the pudding on your side, and then those people will be exposed, and then you'll know exactly that you're on the right. So it's just a matter of time with you. So it's not as a negative way. It's very positive. You just have to be due diligence.
I've been standing my ground.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, and defending myself. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, there's I've met a lot of kinds of people to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been looking at this about 5-6 years. I'm going in 6 years, so.
Yeah, again,
I'm glad to hear it'll be coming to an end.
Yeah. Well, like I tell people, this is going to be over, because the ones that you're dealing with right now they will be exposed for what they are, and then they're gonna wish they never messed with you. So
that would be great. Are they still headhunting? They've been headhunting psychics to do nefarious things. Are they still doing it?
They can't.
Because I haven't. Yeah,
they won't be able to headhunt as much as they used to, because see, the legitimate one, the legitimate readers, the legitimate healers, they're not going to bother. Okay, because let's put it this way: if I wasn't legitimate, then they would have shut me down long ago. But because my work, I'm not just a reader, but I'm also help find missing people, and my work has been going on for years, and my involvement in it. So I'm always strongly try to support other readers and healers that are people or medium like myself. There's other people like myself that actually are remote viewers too, and we work together as a team. At times we'll say, okay, I see this, and then they'll see that, and then we get the police to go over there and say, check this out. And at least we encourage them to do it. But there are some police officers that don't want to see it, because to them, they think you're taking their job away from them. Well, number one, and then I've actually, one officer said to me one time, he said, well, we have our own psychics on that are in service. I said, really? Give me the name of the person. And they won't tell me. I said, well, then you're not, then you don't have any psychics on in service as an officer to do work. I said, you will now, because I've already trained one. And he said, which officer is that? And I said, well, if I told you, then, then he'll come and tell you himself. So I know I had an officer in my house, and he wanted to learn. He took my courses to learn how to use his skills. Very talented man, knew how to works as a remote viewer, because he was actually originally hired as a detective. His job was doing forensic, but every time he got close to a body, he would actually see the person's spirit talk to him and tell him how he died, and he was getting freaked out. So I had to help him understand that if you're that sensitive and can see them and talk to them, then you need to, learn how to use your skills more, so you're not going to show any more fear of them, but actually to work with them so they can help, and you can do more cases. And so then he became very important. But he's an RCMP, and whether he chooses to carry on use it, it's up to him. But again, there are sometimes they can. When you start seeing a lot of dead bodies through the years, it can catch up to you. Sometimes he was having restless sleeps and he was having a hard time dealing with it. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. And like a lot of guys are in the military, for example, same thing. They're in battles and they're forced to shoot someone. It's very hard on a person when you're forced to do the job, having to say, well, I have to kill you because they said so. It's but again, that's why a lot of these military or police officers or anyone who's in any that carries arms to defend, a lot of them go through PTSD. But there's people that are not even carrying weapons or also go through PTSD. So I'm not a person that has PTSD, but I could easily, if I let myself go, because the things that I've seen, but I've learned to become an observer and not a participant. I've learned to observe from a distance, to say, here's what I see and here's what they're showing me. I could be next to I've been around so many dead bodies. I'm used to it, but I see them as a shell because the spirit's no longer there with them. So it's just the participant of saying, okay, this is what I'm seeing, what this person went through. Mm-hmm. And then the rest is up to the police to prove whether it's, whoever the guy is and which coroner actually will say if it really did happen or not. So, yeah. So that happens. I'm still here.
Yeah, there you are. Okay.
Yeah. I can never cut out.
Wow. That is great information, and very true. And that's awesome that you were able to teach this fella.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. Getting more folks in police force and being detectives to be able to do that. God, that would be awesome.
I love working with people to encourage, help them with their skills more. I mean, I've actually worked with professionals that wanted to further their skills, so I'll see more from them. So anyways, thank you for calling in, my dear.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye. Yeah, thank you. All right, bye.
Okay. Yeah, we had a phone. Wait, okay, so who's next? Area code 780.
Hey, how's it going, Derek?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. This is Travis calling in.
Hey, Travis. How's life treating you?
Pretty good actually. I just calling in to talk about some of the UFOs.
Woo. What's happening in your side of the world? Is any sightings up in that area?
Yeah, actually, I've seen quite a few large ones. In fact, ones that were flying too low to be satellites, because if they were satellites, they would have fell to the earth.
Yeah.
And they were even stopping and like going around, like doing like little curves here and there, heading south and from north to south, and like from the North Pole to South Pole kind of deal. Like, but
okay.
they're flying along, and like I said, I was very fortunate to see it, and it was like emanating like an orangish yellow like glow around it. Like it was like but it would look like a star, like it lit up bright, like it was like reflecting light from the sun or something from the moon, whatever, right? Like, but it was very, very bright. But like I said, that energy just seemed to like follow it, like almost like a neon glow. Like it just like, like if you move the light like in the darkness and you kind of see that trail of light a little bit.
Yeah.
Like kind of like that. Like it was just like, yeah, it looked really cool. I managed to capture about like a 2-minute video of it.
Did you actually, when you want to give our listeners know what area are you living in that you saw this sighting?
Oh, like northern Alberta, like it's like
okay.
4 hours north of Edmonton,
Okay.
kind of in a rural area.
Okay.
My local rural forested area, so I don't have any light pollution. I know all the constellations, I know all the stars, I know all the planets and what's seen this time of year and what looks normal and natural. Like I have my favorite constellations, and like that's how I started doing these night watches, was because like I was really into just astrology and noting like constellations and stars, and so I bought a telescope and would be out there at night looking. And then
you got a telescope? Good for you.
Yeah. So like I was right into like looking up stars and everything for like a good year in 2020, and then 2021 that's when I started seeing a lot of these crafts and started getting a lot more pictures and videos and evidence like of them over time, right? But like but so like I know I've seen aircrafts, I've seen like, because we maybe get like about maybe like 20 or 10 a day, which is still bad, but like at the end of the day it's like I can tell which is what are signal lights, or I can tell which is military aircrafts or things like flying around and jets, and kind of what's their pace and speed compared to what these things in the atmosphere are flying at, right? And like it's quite incredible, like, and the energy too that they give off, right? It's like it's not just like where you're experiencing it and you're seeing it, but you also feel it. You know what I mean? Like you feel it deep in you, and it's almost that connection, because like they can kind of hear you when you're like if you're asking them to light up or glow, or you know what I mean, or they know you see them, or any kind of deal. Like it's almost like a thing from the universe. Like
cool.
Very, very connected.
Good. Well, have you communicate with one of them that actually came down to see you?
I've had tons of like experiences seeing the ships and like some of like their healing centers and things like that, and their tech. Well, the ones I experienced were Pleiadian and Andromedan, Galactic Federation of Light World.
Yeah, because I know they're all over right now, because the Pleiadians are all over the place, because they're the ones that are helping us too. So that makes a lot of sense.
And this ship had like thousands of different kind of beings on it. Like it wasn't just Pleiadian people. Like, and the Pleiadian people were very different. Like they had like, there was very different kind of, like they all were very different kind of Pleiadians. Like they weren't they were all different kind of colors and skin colors and everything, and it was like very, very wild. And but like the little Andromedans there, like they were smaller little blue guys, but they also did have warrior classes that had like they were a little bit taller, like 8 feet tall, and they had like a large reflective black suits that were very like I said, they were like battle suits kind of deal. And so like to see all that, and then like and to experience the different kind of like how they acted and how they were, and who they were helping. They were actually had a lot of people aboard the ship that were doing healings there. So like why was I brought up there was like they were very interested in my my connection to healing and my working with energies, and that's what they kind of were there upgrading with my working with energies. And so I was able to look into the spirits of these beings and kind of help them heal, because the technology that works on their ships is based on spirituality and technology. So like if there's a dark attachment on somebody, you would have to clear them out spiritually before the technology worked and healed them, kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
So like I was there. So I was there like helping out a little bit, but
that's why I don't act surprised, because I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like I was seeing a lot of different kind of like beings there, like a lot of human hybrids that were from the underground bases. I saw a lot of like donkey humanoid people and like animal humanoid people, and deep underground, like experiments and stuff, right? And being worked on, and other kind of humans that were made to be reptilians and different things, and all these like different kind of humanoids that were kind of like caught, like that weren't really part of it. You know what I mean? What I'm saying? That were kind of rescued and kind of like medical transfers. And so, there was a lot of that, and a few other distant beings that were there. But like I said, it was a pretty interesting ship, very highly advanced, and a lot of the technology came from the Pleiadian, Pleiadian and Arcturian. It was like it was like how do you say that? Like they co-made them or whatever, like their technology and that's just like what, and they came from the Andromedan system.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd just come over and talk a little bit about these ETs and stuff. And
Cool. It's nice to hear that.
yeah, and also give your show a call. I haven't called in for quite some time.
No, you haven't. Yeah, but I'll let you know this. As of next week, I'm bringing in Bill Hauser.
Yeah.
So we, Bill Hauser and I are going to be bringing on the Frank's box. We're going to bring out the box. So we're going to be talking to those that are passed away in the box next week too. So we're going to have Bill back here in the studio.
Oh, right on. It'll be a wonderful show.
Yeah. Cool.
Excellent. I'll be looking forward to seeing that.
Okay. Well, take care, Travis.
Alrighty. Yes. You as well. And have fun out there.
Okay. Talk to them, my friend. Cool. Yeah, this is normal, folks. There are people out there, and I've known Travis for a lot of years since he was young. There are people out there because there was actually about 3 or 4 young men that I knew, that I knew passed away, but they were abducted on another type of ship, and where he lives close by his place, on a reserve, and they now passed away, not because of the ships, because they couldn't handle, I guess, they themselves being examined on the ship. I guess they had a hard time dealing with that. But another young man was taken on the ship and he was examined, but he told me a story after. And I told him, I said, don't be afraid of that. They were there to help you, because whatever illness you're dealing with, they helped you. And he goes, I know, because he said, I never drank after that. So whatever it was he was dealing with, consciously, unconsciously, it helped him get better. And not going to say they scared him straight. He needed to get healthy, and they helped him. He said they cleaned out his system and he felt better. So I understand from Travis's point of view, when Travis is very attracted to the extraterrestrials and his work. He's a really talented young man. And so the more you want to work with them, the more they want to work with you. So there's no limitations, there's no, Travis wasn't just a chosen one. He was just, Travis wanted to help. And that's exactly where he's at. Right. So yeah, it's cool. So anyways, let's go here. And I think oh my goodness, I'm going to call this a night, folks, but I really appreciate you guys calling in, and hope we're able to help you guys. Again, like I said before, folks, if you want to see anything regarding what I do, I'm actually on Telegram. I have a page called True North, Strong and Free. I will let give you guys a bit of a heads up in the near future. And I will say this, it's very possible that Facebook may be taken down, or it will be they'll be making some changes, because things are not going to be the way you expect them to be. They're going through some major changes right now. So, but if you want to find me on, for example, I would take this programmer recorded it, and it will go on to my other pages on Telegram. I'll be sharing that with you as well. Plus, I also have, where is it? I wanted to bring this up to show you guys if I have it. Where is it? Hang on. I have a Rumble page, and if you can always look for me on Rumble, and you'll see other recorded programs. Please like and share. And looking forward to talk to you guys next time. Next week, yes, we're going to have Bill Hauser on, which is he's actually has the box that actually talks to the people that have passed away. We've had, and through everyone has been sending me texts and say, when are you going to bring Bill back? So Bill said, okay, let's do it. So as of the 22nd next week, we're going to bring Bill Hauser in, and we're going to try and do some more things. Maybe talk to dead presidents, or maybe other people besides, and see what happens. See if we can, those that are passed away that are maybe famous at one time, that maybe could be possibly on the other side, want to talk to us. Other than that, yeah. like I said before, support your local farmers and take good care of each other, and try not to hate each other for what goes on in this world. Forgive, love, and forgive and forget. You can never forget, but love and forgive. You know what I mean? So God's on our side, guys. Where we go one, we go all. So it'll be good to gather each other, guys, and we'll talk to you next week. In the meantime, that's another edition of Shadow Chasing Show.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is it war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time when the stars die? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all we gotta learn to live together. Peace in peace, in peace. All right, make peace, peace together. Peace.
You're late to work, who gives a fuck? It's your life, bitch!